Located in Miles Standish State Forest, off of a highway in Plymouth, Massachusetts, was a little campsite called Camp Cachalot. The camp was purchased in 1945 and had been used by the Boy Scouts for several decades. One of the Boy Scouts that went there was my papa, Victor Sylvia.
As a Boy Scout in 1958, my Boy Scout troop was scheduled to go out there for 1 week for summer camp. Took different classes for merit badges, swimming, canoeing, fishing, hiking, rifle range, archery, whatever programs were available, I took part in. And I thought it was the greatest experience of my life. I was a scoutmaster for a Boy Scout troop that went out there. I was also the camping chairman for the council. It was the experience of being able to be out there, experiencing, hiking, camping, fishing, boating, being under the stars. As a leader, it was getting young men involved with the program where they could appreciate as much as I did, and they did. They went on to various leadership positions within the council. It was always a great outlet for me, got me out of the city, taught me responsibility, instilled in me some leadership values, always got me to look at things both ways rather than just one way. Scouting has a law and an oath, and I think if you try to live by both, you're going to do well in life.
Camp Cachalot was very important to Papa. He would take me and my cousin Ben there a couple times a year during vacations from school. We made a lot of great memories together.
I think it was an experience for both of them. Got them involved in an atmosphere that they weren't used to. They got to see the things that I got to see at that age. I think they appreciated it. I know I did. Not having any sons, I was never able to share my scouting value with boys other than the Boy Scouts in my troop. But I got to share some of them with my grandsons, and that was really good for me. And my 3 granddaughters also. They camped with us too. Not as often, but at Memorial Day and Labor Day, it was usually, Matthew, Benjamin, and I, we roughed it.
Camp Cachalot was like a little paradise away from home. I loved hanging out there with my family. It was a great bonding moment for me, my cousin, Ben, and Papa. I loved swimming, I loved canoeing, I loved fishing, I loved hiking, especially with my cousin Ben. We would just talk constantly about everything that we loved, like Marvel, Star Wars, the DC, video games, comics, movies, whatever. Camp Cachalot gave me this appreciation for nature, I'm not that much of an outdoors person. I prefer just, staying home and playing video games and watching TV, but I never said no to going to camp. It was a tradition.
But we weren't the only people who enjoyed Camp Cachalot. Other Boy Scouts like Brian Bastarash and Dennis Wilkinson grew very fond of the camp and kept returning there for the rest of their lives because of how important it was to them and how it changed them.
The experiences and the life lessons learned serving on camp staff are innumerable. Lessons I use today with my own students. The idea that you can never force greatness out of somebody, but you can get them excited to do a great job.
Some of the things that I learned about how to kind of run a team are things that I learned at camp and in scouting. I'm a manager of software engineers now. I don't lead my software engineers in song, but I certainly do use things that I learned in terms of people management and interacting with folks when I was a 20-year-old. I use some of the same things today. I learned how to be responsible for my own actions and take responsibility for the things that I do right and things that I do wrong as a scout. That's had a deep influence on the way I conduct myself in the office and in a professional environment. I still hang around with the same group of people that I hung around with when I was 13 or 14 years old. I even met my wife at camp, when I was on the summer camp staff.
I don't know what it was, something in that crystal clear water at Cachalot or the sand, that a lot of folks who worked at Camp Cachalot remain very good friends for many years, if not their entire lives. And that was a huge part of Cachalot. All those other things about the beautiful place and the activities and the uniqueness of the environment, combined with a unique group of really good people.
Unfortunately, the Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy in 2020 after thousands of men and boys made accusations that they were abused as scouts. As a result, the camp was sold to the state, making it impossible for anyone to camp there anymore.
Camp closing hit me pretty hard. Camp being sold hit me like a ton of bricks when we heard that announcement.
There's a lot. There's grief, there's frustration, and there's rage.
I think it's sad whenever you lose something that you've been going to for well over 60 years and you put your heart and soul into it. It's a shame that young men today and young girls today aren't going to be able to experience the things that I did. But I think it was inevitable. As the programs dwindled in numbers, Cachalot got less and less use. And, there's an old adage, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. But we did the best we could to keep it going for that many years, for 75 years. And there's countless men and women that got to enjoy camp and experience it.
When my mom told me that camp was closing, it didn't hit me right away. I think it took a while for that to really set in. I think it wasn't until our final stay at camp that I realized that I was never gonna go to Camp Cachalot ever again. And even then, it didn't fully set in until after I went home. I loved Camp Cachalot. It's one of my favorite places in the whole world, and I miss going there twice a year. I'll always cherish the memories.
I'm very happy that if the terrible events of the closure and sale of Camp Cachalot had to occur, it won't be a housing development or golf course or any of these other terrible things that we have far too many of in southeastern Massachusetts. It will stay similar to what it has been. Large areas of that acreage will be protected as unique wildlife habitat, and it will be open to the public to enjoy that wonderful and unique and beautiful environment in perpetuity. It's the best way that a tragedy could have happened, because many camps won't be so lucky. They will be housing developments and strip malls.
I know that I still have all of the memories that I have of the place. I am comfortable enough going out there now that it's not camp anymore and still hiking the property and seeing what's going on. I'm glad that the place is going to remain a place that I can go visit, even if it's different than what it was when I was, when it was a scout camp. But it's changed over time, so I'll take small wins where I can get them. Among my roles with the Alumni Association, I'm also the communications chairman, which means I'm responsible for maintaining our internet presence. So that's our website, our Facebook page, our Facebook group. We have an Instagram page as well. It's really about trying to keep that Cachalot community active and talking to each other and sharing their memories. And we get a decent amount of involvement from folks who've been involved at camp over the years there.
I truly feel for all of the young folks who won't have that experience now. What they're missing is it's indescribable, because it's not something you can convey in words. You had to be there.